When we run out of road, when the creek starts to run dry, from tongues the scales have fallen, and quietly spins your alibi. In the den, nursing cocktails, waiting to fashion an apt reply, not bothering to hear a word you say, truth born out of pale brown eyes. And I'm tired, dead on my feet, tuckered out, done in. I'm so tired. Lay my head on the gravelly ground, run through.
What's up, Neil?
What's up, Cal? How you doing?
Got a wall.
How fucking great is this lead-in, huh?
Love this.
I can't take anymore.
Here we are.
Gonna stand
Season 2, episode
on
19.
that bridge. I keep my eyes down below.
Love it.
Whatever may come, and whatever may go, that river's flowing.
Padre. So,
That
we have a very
river's
special
flowing.
guest today, Neil. Kevin Brace. I actually went to elementary school with Kevin.
Kevin.
True story.
Amazing.
Fucking amazing lead-in, dude. I love it. So yeah, Kevin Brace, we went to elementary school at Edmund Randolph Elementary.
That's right.
And then we ended up graduating from Winston Churchill High School
sure
together
did.
in Livonia.
93.
93, dude.
And may I just mention, that was the first time we've had a live
Lead-in.
lead-in.
Fucking amazing, dude.
And I think
you.
we should do it more. We'll,
No.
we'll obviously need a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin's just here every time.
Next time we have a soccer player, they might be juggling a ball. you
Right.
know?
Show the skill.
But as long as, whatever the skill set is, right? No, so, dude, we haven't literally probably talked since we graduated that night.
Yeah, I don't remember.
In
the
the
last time I
93,
saw you.
right?
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny because, like, I looked up and I'm like, wow, we actually connected on LinkedIn of all things
LinkedIn.
in 2013.
Yeah,
And, like, you were working a whole different life. at that
completely.
point.
Yeah.
From where you are now.
Yeah, it was brutal. That was
But-
fun.
It probably also gave you some of the skills and shit to do what you're doing now.
No
right?
doubt.
Operations management,
Yeah.
etc. Because now you're working with Live Nation,
Yep.
I think,
Yep.
at St. Andrews
St.
in
Andrews
the
Hall.
shelter.
Yep.
So, one, thank you for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for reaching out.
No, absolutely. And I remember, like, I am never been a social media guy.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
So I was totally LinkedIn 100%. That's all I had. It's the business thing,
Yeah.
right? It's better than everyone. You're better than everyone on LinkedIn, but no, it's the worst
Yeah,
of
it's-
all of them.
Real lousy, dude.
All right. So then we started Two Dudes, and of course now I got the LinkedIn or the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
We got Instagram, Facebook, Threads, which is stupid because no one likes us on that, but whatever. But anyway, I noticed on Instagram someone KB kept like liking shit and like noticing us, and then it took me a while to realize it was you.
Yeah.
And then like I saw your videos on YouTube, I think it is.
Yeah.
in your
there's some-
garage.
yeah.
So what do you call your garage? First of all, you got
Braceland.
Where's it?
It's
Graceland.
Braceland.
Braceland. I
Yeah.
fucking
Oh.
love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, that's amazing.
that's
So,
a small
I-
play on words, right?
My wife and I went to Graceland for, I think it was for her 40th birthday.
Okay.
And we were walking around in there, and I was like, wow, this place is insane. I don't know. Have you been there? It's
Never
insane.
been.
Like, I'm
Never
not a
been.
huge Elvis fan, but that dude was, his mind was crazy awesome. Like his taste was so
You're way ahead of his time.
Way
that
ahead of
type
his time.
shit,
So I'm walking through the place and I was like, we need something like this at our
which
house.
is kind of, I'm sorry to interrupt, but maybe like Prince's place.
Yeah.
Like I've always heard his place is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that too. Like almost like a new Graceland.
It's crazy because there's like a different theme in every room, and you're just like walking through, and you're just like, "What is going on? Like,
That's
how
nice.
did you come up with this?" So
Right.
we walked through the jungle room, and I was like, "Oh, it'd be so cool if we had something." And I said, "We're gonna make our garage kind of like modeled after Graceland." So it's all like vintage, like stuff in there, and it's just the vibe's good. Everybody has a good time.
Which is what we try to do here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? I call it our studio, but it's really a basement, a bunch of artwork, just a cool place to hang out.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, 99% of the time is where the kids and their friends hang out, which is super cool too.
For real.
Because one, they follow us.
Uh huh.
So it's like the younger generation.
Yeah.
And they see all the pictures and you interact with them. And I said the best. Worst decision we ever made building this house was not having a bathroom down here.
Uh huh.
I wish I would have prepped it for one, not necessarily have one, but it meant all these kids came up, so they had to, at least walk by me.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
And so you interact with it. Now this last year I went to all their grad parties, and a bunch of them literally do follow us. And like I said, going back to you, like you were one of our earlier followers.
Without
even realizing who you were. It took me a while to figure it out.
Uh huh.
And then I started watching your videos, and I'm like, wow, this is super cool. And then I saw like the whole Padre thing, and then you're in your garage. It's like kind of like your home base.
Yeah.
Like you just fucking hang out and do your stuff. So how long have you been playing?
I got my first guitar at a garage sale at Don Carlson's garage sale.
Don and Dave.
Yeah.
And Erica, I believe, was their sister.
Yep, there was a couple other too, but
they're followers, so
Are they?
quick shout out to the Carlsons.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I bought this horrible guitar, but I really wanted to play, so I started playing. I took a couple lessons, and I decided, well, I want to write
How old
songs.
were you?
15.
Oh, okay.
15.
Oh, no kidding.
All right.
Yeah. I rode my bike with the guitar like across the handlebars.
So I know we obviously I forget, where did you grow up on what street?
Richfield. So it's like the dirt road, like right off.
So by Corky.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So that Richfield right there.
Yep.
Okay.
On the other side of Perth, but
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was on Marie.
Yeah.
And then that fucking tornado just went through.
I know.
Did you drive through there?
I was there that day. I was.
Were you really?
Cutting their grass? Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, and it got real bad, so I'm like, I gotta get out of here, And then I took off, and there was the death and everything.
No
Crazy.
shit. It was nuts.
Holy
and
fuck.
where that the tree fell and all the craziness was like 2-3 blocks from where I grew up.
Yeah.
In Marie. So me and Emily drove through there.
Yeah, I did the same
after
thing.
that,
Yeah.
we were like, it was amazing to see the decimation.
Yeah.
All around there. And some of the trees that were, I would say, had to have been at least 100 years old that, by the grace of God, just didn't fall on us.
Right.
But seeing like the whole, unbelievable.
The power of a
pull it.
tornado.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
insane.
Yeah.
And just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, fucking. Were you a member of the old pool club?
I
back
was
then?
not. We had a pool my whole life.
Okay,
So yeah.
Yeah, that was where I got my first fucking love. We would go play tennis, go hit that pool in the old sub, and now we got a pool now.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I definitely.
I kind of
swam
grew
in it,
up
but
with one,
yeah.
even though it wasn't my own, and then I was like, God, it's just such a nice to have.
Yeah, Castle Gardens, baby.
Back in Castle Gardens, the old Castle Gardens sub, bro, yeah.
For sure.
We've had old Deho was on. So
Yeah.
he was the old Castle Gardens guy. I don't think we had anyone else yet, but I'm sure we might. You never
I
know.
haven't seen him in forever either.
So
Yeah.
you had mentioned that you grew up, or you started at 15. Were you always like musically? Where was it?
It's really strange.
Thing
So,
like when you're
yeah, like-
younger, like 7 years old. Oh my gosh, I really.
Like
like
your
music.
parents a huge influence
No,
or anything like that? No.
So
See, mine weren't either.
I wasn't allowed to listen to like non-Christian music growing up.
All right.
So my first concert, I think, was like this Christian artist named Carmen, and And I was also at that Petra show that you were at. Yeah.
You sent that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's when I realized who you were,
Yeah.
I think, because you sent that, I think, through Instagram or
Yeah.
something.
That's hilarious.
And you're like, I was at that show, and then I started, like, actually realizing who you are. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, we went with D-Ho, because that was his church. So, yeah.
Yeah, we went to the same church.
I did the award.
Yeah.
So I admitted on that show that was technically my first rock,
Right.
my first concert.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will never forget about that show was the bass.
Okay.
Because, like, I'd never been to a show
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And I just remember the dude playing the fucking bass and, like, hearing the boom. You
Sure.
know, like the, and then after that, I've always been a drums guy.
Uh-huh.
I always, then at that point, I have a great fucking guitar solo.
Oh,
or
sure.
whatever. And so for me, and I've said it a million fucking times, probably, what have we done, like 40 some episodes, probably on 39 of them. Like, for me, that's what music is. It's just like all those different parts together, but also kind of separate. Like,
Right.
I'll watch a show, and to me, the singer is just another instrument. I don't
it
care
is.
about the lyrics, really, if it's to tell you. Like, some people are like, oh my God, it made me cry. I'm like, I don't even know what the words are.
I'm the same way.
But I'm like, I love hearing that part with everything else working together, and that's my thing.
Yeah.
But I understand where some people are like, oh, I love the lyrics. I love this part because it's music.
Right.
And everyone enjoys it in a different way.
Uh-huh.
But for me, it's always just been kind of each piece is almost a different component. And sometimes I'll watch the singer,
Yeah.
not caring what they're singing, but sometimes it's the drummer. It just depends.
Uh-huh.
What is it for you? Like live shows, not only... I'm assuming you've played live shows. I know
Lots. So many, dude.
so between
many.
like enjoying a live show as a fan and
Mm-hmm.
then being the artist, like for you, what is it?
Well, live music, just the energy. I remember early on when I was working at St. Andrews, standing in the lobby without a beer, which is weird,
Right?
But
Sure.
standing in the lobby and feeling the energy, it was Michigan Rattlers.
Okay.
And I was like, these guys are out of their mind right now. Like, they are bringing this energy to this room that it was incredible. And I was like, I can do this without a beer too. That's cool.
Right.
And I can enjoy this. And I don't even know their music. Like, I've heard of them or whatever, but they were just ripping, and it was incredible. And so it's the energy, it's sometimes like I would buy tickets to go see a show or whatever, and then the day of the show I'd be like, I really want to go. Like, do I really want to go? It always
Every show.
yeah.
Almost every fucking show, even if it's one you're so excited for.
And it's and even worse is like Pine Knob. Like, oh gosh, I'm really
No
gonna.
shit.
It's an investment of time, man. I went and saw The
worst.
Cure last summer. Incredible, but it took 3 hours to get there. I'm like,
And I will say, and I love them because they fought so hard
Yeah.
to be like $20
Yep.
tickets. They were like, "Fuck you, we're doing it." And I know it was rainy as fuck,
Yeah, it was
and everyone
brutal.
had a blast though.
yeah, we were like at a standstill. I got
Were
out.
you
like
in the lawn?
No, I had.
Yeah,
I
pavilion
had
or
good
whatever.
tickets,
That's
yeah.
good. That's
So,
good.
yeah, we stopped. We were at a standstill on the freeway. 2 pee breaks and 2 cigarette breaks, like just walking down 75,
Right.
like
Walking.
because it's not going anywhere. I could have
Right.
walked there faster. It was
Right.
brutal. Well, we got on when The Cure was playing. We could hear them, right? We missed the opener altogether, and
Right.
we got there, and that was magical. And we got out pretty fast, but getting in was horrible. So thinking about going to Pine Knob is worse than thinking about going anywhere else because you can actually
100%.
get there.
I agree.
But
It's a tough place to get
Yeah.
to. The only thing I'll say, like for us from here, like you end up on like 59 for like 40 fucking miles, and then you end up on like some back roads.
right,
But the last time I went to Pine Knob, dude, I was stuck on a fucking residential street somehow
yeah,
for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I had to turn right, but then I had to turn left immediately.
yeah.
So it was like,
It's
It
a
really
historical problem that they never
know.
solved.
and it took me
Fix it.
30 minutes to get through all of that.
Bro, John Shack and I just went and saw
Oh,
fucking Marilyn Manson open up for
Five
Finger
Finger
Death
Punch.
Punch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I said, let's not do 75.
Yeah.
And so we got on Pine Knob Drive. Oh yeah, we're gonna
Going the back way.
Well, we actually tried to go around, but
People are hip to all the spots now.
it was the road was closed.
Oh, really?
We would have been fine. Anyway, got back on Pine Knob Drive. Honestly, it took us 2 hours to get there from
Awful.
Redford.
Stupid.
Or like you said, 3 hours from
I will
Yeah,
say,
Dearborn, yeah.
you know what also is awful is the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater at Freedom Hill. That's tough to get in and out
Yeah.
of, dude. That's real tough.
Uh,
Great venue.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'd never been there until in June.
Okay.
When I saw
I've seen a few
Pixies
shows
and
there, yeah.
Modest Mouse.
Yeah.
Great show.
I went to see Modest Mouse at Pine Knob with my friend John.
Yeah, what did you think of it? Because I've always heard it's either you loved it or you hated it kind of thing with Modest Mouse.
So it was a co-headline tour. So it was Modest
Same
Mouse.
thing with
yeah.
Pixies.
And
Real quick,
and
what year?
this would have been, I don't know, pre-COVID.
Okay,
So
okay.
it was brand new in Modest Mouse. And me and my friend John are sitting in, having a couple
Pine Knob,
beers.
you said?
Pine Knob?
Pine Knob, is
Yeah.
that where it was at?
Yep.
Okay.
Pull in, everything's cool. We're having a couple beers, and then the dude comes around with a golf cart, and he's like, "All right, headliner's going on." I was like, "Cool, we're here to see Modest Mouse," and he's like, "They just got done." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So Brand New was the headliner, and I was like, "Let's go." No. Yeah,
Didn't even go in.
we just went back. We met like over in Redford, and we just went to Sandy's on the beach and had beers. And we went home.
Dude,
So
that's
just throw your
hilarious.
money away, you know. I didn't know. I thought Modest Mouse was the headliner, so I've never seen him. I've always liked them, but I've never
Right.
seen them.
And, well, me and Neil talked about that. Like, they've been around for like decades.
Yes, yes.
Over 20 years.
Go
Approaching
on,
30
and I
almost at
said
this
before.
point.
Go on YouTube and look at Modest Mouse. I
Right.
mean, they have fucking shit from like the 90s.
No, they totally do. 'Cause
Yeah. And
It's weird, but eclectic, fucking awesome. You know?
yeah, and a lot of their songs I love and never seen them before. I'm like, holy shit, I've never seen Pixies.
Yeah, Pixies are
Obviously,
great if they're the headliner. If they're not, they don't.
And
they're
they
just
were the
mailing
headliner
it in.
that
Yeah.
night.
Oh no, kidding.
And dude, it was sweet. And I've never been a Pixies fan. I mean, obviously I heard their songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never like immersed myself in the Pixies. And obviously Pixies with Kim Deal's
Sure.
totally different than where they are now. But it was sweet, dude. It was a cool venue, horrible to get in and out of. Modest Mouse was sweet. I had the row A of the 700 section, so it was like the seats above everything else.
Yeah.
But first row. It's fucking awesome.
Sure.
All my Modest Mouse videos have people walking because I don't want to stand up because there's people behind me.
Right.
I mentioned this on a lot of shows. I'm very cognizant of people's experience of concerts,
Yeah, I'm the same way.
but I also want to document it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say document it, what I do is I'll record the first, call it 45 seconds to a minute of almost every song that the artist plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put it down and I enjoy it. While I'm recording it, I'm still watching them. I'm not watching my phone.
Right.
I keep that shit within my body.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So if people are walking in, I don't give a shit.
See, that's
My whole point is I don't bring you to the concert. I'm exposing you to music.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are walking, if you don't see the fucking artist, because like my Lollapalooza videos, some of them I'm so fucking far back, you see the screen
right.
and you see like this.
Yep.
But you know what? That's my point. Isn't to bring you to the show.
Right.
The point is to expose you to the music.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe you'll be like, oh, since I saw this on Two Dudes, I'm going to go listen to this.
Right,
I'm going to go
yeah.
listen to that. You know, so to me, I look at it as a different experience of recording
Uh-huh.
because there's a purpose.
Yep.
And I may be like, whatever, and people may not agree with it, but I don't give a shit. So screw you, man. I recorded at least 17 videos at Sasanta when we weren't allowed to.
You Maynard.
No, but it's like, and people are like, oh, you're just trying to make money. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to make money. I'm having a podcast. I'm enjoying, reconnecting with people that I haven't seen in years. Musicians that we may be able to help elevate their, talking about going to Lollapalooza or concerts, me and Neil. I mean, that's what it's all about. Because live music is all of us enjoying it together.
Agreed.
You know, so if you're going to be all hoity-toity, then you're not the person for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, all I want to do is enjoy a show with people. I love walking into a show and, like you said, feeling the energy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I couldn't even imagine it from an artist's point of view.
That's pretty.
Like, when you actually
Pretty
walk
dope
out,
too, man.
and you
Yeah,
first walk out, and, like, whether it's 50 people, 500 people,
Yeah,
5,000 people, when you first walk out, and those people are like, oh my God, here he is.
Yeah.
Here's Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're fucking
They're just
fun
rooting
for
for
it,
you.
and
Yeah,
then that
it's-
gets
it's
you
cool.
going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's interesting, like playing music. I've played so many places with so many people, with so many bands, and there's something about playing music that is like this transcendent experience. Like when you lock in and you're all feeling it in the room, that energy is more immense for the band when they're really doing it. When it's
Right.
when you are all in the pocket and when you're all like have the same vision and you're all driven the same way, it's like electrifying. It's wild. It's like no drug that you could consider. Like it's insane.
So when the crowd really feels that really kind of almost locks in the band,
Yeah,
and
it's-
you just feel it even more.
Yeah, and there's sometimes like even in practice that it's
Right.
better than playing live. That you're just having this thing.
And that was one thing I picked up with Gio Gentili, right, with Red Eye and his band, and it almost sounds kind of similar to you. Right? You kind of picked it up, taught yourself a lot of shit, and it was funny because he used to sit on his porch when he was hurt, and would just play like simple chords. He
Sure.
would just do like kind of the blues.
Yeah.
Here comes the guy walking down the street, because there was a guy literally walking down.
So funny. He was talking about how he would
Yeah.
write the song about the person walking
Right.
by. And whenever I would do sound checks, I would just like be playing my guitar and just singing about the sound man. You know,
Right.
like because it's funny.
Right.
You know.
Fun, man.
Yeah.
It gets the job done.
Right, gets the
you
job
know?
done.
That's how he was kind of teaching himself doing it. And that was like the crazy part was like within 5 or 6 months, he was on a stage singing, you know, playing with these guys. And like, I mean, he was the only guitar. Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's like, you really put yourself out there.
Yeah,
So, I
it's
mean,
frightening.
One, I know, right? So
I
that's
have
just
to
one
imagine,
thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Neil, I mean, we played soccer, right? We played on huge stages of soccer, right? And that is a
I don't
whole
think
different level of
there's a
anxiety
small
and everything
difference,
like that.
but
But
there's
then I
not,
look
though.
at what you guys do, and to go out there with all these people
Yeah.
and just do that is a whole different fucking ballgame.
Yeah, it's-
What is that like?
Oh, it's awful.
Right. You just said frightening. I mean,
it is. And so
I can't
when you
imagine.
play with a band or you play with a team, right, you have that support.
Yeah,
when
right.
you're doing it by yourself, it's like you're naked and alone. You know, it's awful. Like, but it's exhilarating at the same time.
Right.
So every day that I play a show, I played mainly in bands, right? The stuff that I'm doing now is if I play out, I'm playing by myself, and I kind of have this thing that I do, but every time, like one, I don't have a drink before I play because I don't want to mess up, you know?
Right.
Like, so,
I get it.
and two,
I didn't ever drink before a song.
Yeah.
game either.
it's
Kind
not
of
like
the same thing.
I did it like bowling.
Which my dad was a fucking killer bowler. Dude. So one, your dad was Army.
Yep.
I know we talked about your. I don't know if we did on air yet, but
No.
your dad has recently passed
Yeah.
away. So one, and I know Neil, your dad passed away a number of years ago.
Yes,
but I mean it's a huge thing. But your dad was Army.
He was.
My dad is first cab, but your dad passed. So I wanted to dedicate this to your father as well as
appreciate that.
Neil's.
I appreciate that.
cheers, brothers.
And
Yes.
you know, I will always pour a bit out to everyone.
And cheers, guys.
And great, just some great men, dude.
Yeah.
And you can't say enough about the guys that were in the military.
Yeah.
Especially our fathers, right?
Uh-huh.
Because back in the day, Vietnam era, I'm
Yep.
assuming your dad was,
He was.
probably there,
Yeah,
right?
he was. He served in Vietnam.
I mean, he served, I think, a lot longer than my dad did, from what I could see.
Yeah, he was a captain. Like he was, I don't know exactly how long he was there. He was long enough there that he definitely didn't want to be there anymore.
No, absolutely. So my dad actually, my grandpa had to go with him to sign up for him because he was 17.
Okay.
Because he didn't graduate from Cody. One of the smartest motherfuckers I know.
Yeah.
Neil, you can back that up, Dave. He was on actually season 1, episode 19. Neil wasn't with us, but my dad had always wanted to watch Platoon, and we were soldiers with my kids.
That's cool.
So that they could kind of understand what he went through, because he always said those 2 movies were like the closest you could ever experience to his experience without being there. And so he came over, and we were going to watch that, and both my kids were working, so I was like, well, shit, you want to just do a podcast episode while you're here, you know? Because, I mean, he is the worst with technology, of course, right? I mean, he's got a flip fucking phone. So, which was super cool. You got to see how we do it all. Right, yeah, exactly. It's like so much easier, but he got to see how we did it all, and we were talking about his experience. And, the big thing, the one question I asked him was like, being in Vietnam and all of the music around that time was so...
What a great era.
What a great era, but how did you reconcile it with, like, them speaking against the war versus you being there versus, all of that? And his comment was, I always understood the singer's aspect of it, and what they were saying about it, and never took that directly against us as soldiers. They didn't like the situation.
Right.
I don't think that they necessarily portrayed the soldiers in the right light. And that is one thing my dad has always said, even to this day, coming home, being told, don't wear your uniform when you come home. And they're like, why? Because people don't like you.
Yeah.
But we did the right thing. They didn't understand. It's tough to reconcile. So having him on and talking about that was huge. And then having my kids understand all that by watching those movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can obviously see it's a little, it's overwhelming. And obviously knowing your dad going through all of that as well.
Yeah. It's, he went to West Point.
They don't like to talk about it.
No, he never talked about it.
Right. So you went to West Point.
He went to West Point, so he's a West Point graduate. So it's not like the war was on the horizon, necessarily, but he wanted that his whole life. So he went to West Point, graduated, and then you're on the hook,
Right, absolutely.
So, and then he continued.
Just so you know, my sister-in-law, her brother, who actually is also a very good goalkeeper in soccer, went to West Point.
Oh, really?
And he ended up doing multiple tours between Afghanistan and Iraq as an Army Ranger.
My dad was a Ranger, too.
He was shit.
Oh, right on.
Wow. Yeah. That's what I started realizing, guys. I saw you and your sister Heather, right, posting some stuff, and like, of course, as I'm having people on the show, I cyber stalk them, dig as deep as possible.
Naturally,
but it's tough to dig deep on you.
I know
you ain't that deep, bro.
Not a lot of fodder out
You're not on a Facebook,
no,
are you?
I am not.
No,
I had a MySpace. I had a MySpace.
Right, dude. A lot of people, they were like the MySpace before that, right?
And it took me. I mean, I got an Instagram kind of early because I guess I like pictures, and it's like. People send me videos, and I'm just like, I don't have time for this. Like, I just don't have the attention span.
I don't have time for at least
a little ADHD in you.
No. It's ridiculous. I want to bring something up about my dad and Modest Mouse.
Absolutely.
We're in my bathroom. I'm renovating my bathroom, and he was a big help. And I can see his work all around my house, so it's cool. He helped me with lots of stuff.
I'm sorry, but I guarantee he was very meticulous, wasn't he?
In some aspects, like, he wouldn't tape before he painted. He could.
Because they didn't have to.
Yeah, right. But he's working, and I'm doing work in the tub, and Bankrupt on Selling by Modest Mouse comes on, and he's listening to it, and he goes, "So you like this?" And I said, "Yeah." You don't like it? He's like, "No, I don't like it at all." And I said, what don't you like about it? He's like, "Well, I don't really like music." So, and you choose to listen to this. And I was like, "Yeah, it's a good song." He's like, it's really not that good, you know. But it's funny. But he didn't listen to music. He was like a talk radio guy, you know.
That's funny. I love music.
Yeah.
I've never played any music. I've never really been around. Like, my parents didn't really, like, bring me up with music. And it's funny you say that because, like, I don't remember my parents ever, like, playing music in the house. I remember being in the car and listening to the radio. And my dad would say, hey, you know who sings this? And, of course, I'd always say Elvis or the Beatles, and I would always be wrong. But, you know, I was never around music like that. It was never a thing. And it really was probably Paul, you know, because he was always 3 years older.
Yeah.
You know, so like if I'm in 8th grade, he's in 11th. So
Right.
he's exposed to more stuff than I am.
Yeah, naturally.
You know? Naturally, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where I really started picking up, you know. And I will say, like, looking at the soccer community, because back then you would be exposed to people of all walks of life from all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just your own little world.
Right.
But it might be people, I mean, like Maxie and Tom Grasso, you know, who Paul was one of our guests already, were from Grand Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you had people from Kalamazoo that all of a sudden are, you know, so you had all these different walks of life.
Sure.
And so that brought different aspects. And we've always talked about that kind of on our show where within, you'd go, say, a huge game or a tournament or whatever. And a lot of people would have their headphones and listen to their music or whatever. But, you know, music always played a part in that soccer thing, you know. Like, it might be we're listening to it until we get to the stadium. And you get there, and if it's a home game, it's your own music.
Of course.
That's played while you're warming up.
Uh-huh.
You know, if it's the other place, it's their stuff, but it still is going to get you fucking pumped up.
No doubt.
Like, no shit, why aren't we playing this song?
Right,
you know,
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, instead our guys playing Boy Toy by fucking Brutus the Beefcake or whatever. Dude, I'll never forget it. Dude, God bless the guy. He was the best.
He was.
And he made this mixtape, and he's so excited. He's like, hey, I got this mixtape for warm-up. We're like, sweet, you know, or whatever. And he's playing it. And, right, was it Brutus the Barber?
Was
it the Boy Toy song? Whatever it was a wrestler song. It was
A
about
bunch of
the boy-
wrestling, like
all wrestling
songs, you know, like.
Well, Dominic Vella, you remember
Yeah, I
him?
remember him. Yeah.
So he was a year older than us.
Uh-huh.
Well, he ended up transferring to UAD after his freshman year at Schoolcraft.
Okay.
So by the time at UAD, like, we had all these field come in. So, like, by the time we were done my senior year, we had all these like studs playing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, that doesn't matter. I just wanted to let everyone know UAD was fucking sweet in about fucking 93 to 96. And I want to say our record was 50-something wins, about less than 20 losses.
Oh, great.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were great.
Fucking anyway, but no, so this guy's playing the mixtape right before we come on, and all of a sudden, Boy Toy.
Boy
right?
Toy.
It was whatever the wrestler was. I don't even remember who it was.
I don't know either.
Which was huge at the time, but it wasn't really what we were into.
Yeah.
And Bella runs up to him and goes, dude, you better get this song the fuck off right now and get something else on before I beat your ass.
That's awesome.
And dude, and this guy's like, you know, I felt so bad for him because he was trying, but it was so funny. So, one thing we always talk about, well, before we even start that, Padre.
Yeah.
What is that?
Padre.
Because I know you play music, you've opened for people, you've played your own sets, you're Kevin Brace, but what is Padre?
So Padres, it's kind of a concept project about collaboration with other people. So I've everything is kind of like the Postal Service vibe where you this guy writes the song and then farms it out to somebody else. So I have people, you know, Seattle and Virginia and Los Angeles and Chicago and New York, like people will collaborate with me. I'll send the song to them. They'll add their spice to it, and they'll send it back to me. So I let the songs
So
kind of
at that point,
yeah.
you're like, okay, I get theirs, and then do you like kind of mix it up or whatever, send
It
it
depends.
back and ask for more, or how does
Usually,
that work?
usually I will have, say I play the song and then I'll send it to a bass player. He'll send it back to me, and then I'll send it to a drummer, and then he'll put it on. And then I'll be like, hey, you want to put keys on this to some other dude? And then he puts keys on it.
I love keys on a song. God damn it!
Oh, they're
my god,
amazing.
It's one of my
amazing.
favorite things ever.
Procol Harum, Whiter Shade of Pale.
Jesus Christ!
Yep.
That's my favorite song, dude.
You just blew my mind because we just had Jason Wagner on the last episode, right?
Okay.
From Flint. Great guy. I mean, we could have spent probably 5 fucking hours with that guy.
He is a great guy.
And he talked about Procol Harum. You just you just mentioned Procol Harum, and when he mentioned it, my face blew up, and now I'm just fucking mind blown because my father-in-law, Ed Doring, shout out, Debbie, you might listen to it, so let him know. Huge Procol Harum fan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, he was like, literally, that was probably his favorite band ever.
Okay. Not my favorite band, but Whiter Shade of Pale.
Well, I'm not saying you're not your favorite
song.
band, but
Yeah.
for him, like,
Yeah.
to have that connection, because I never even heard of fucking Procol Harum.
Really?
I knew the song.
Yeah.
What you just mentioned, right? Whiter
Shade of Pale,
or whatever. I knew that song, but I never knew them. And he's like, oh, yeah, because I've always been a music guy, so that's a lot of the way I connect with people, right? And, originally talking to him, he's like, oh, I love Procol Harum. I'm like, I'm fucking not heard of them. And then he mentioned that.
Not go on, but how to, through the postal service or, do this, do that. Does the keys come back, put on some keys, and then
I see where it's at. Do I like it? So what my favorite part about it is, like, everybody puts this new, like, spin on it, this new, like, vibe, and it goes from what I expect in my mind to something totally different in like 2 seconds, and I'm like elated because it comes back. I'm like, you took the time.
Never what I thought it would be.
You took the time to do this for me, and we did this together.
So,
and
who are some of the people? So in this thing, it could be anyone that you're working with.
yeah,
or how does that work?
it's all like
you just kind of throw it out in the ether.
No, it's specific. Like,
okay.
So I'll send something to Brian Galindo, and he'll play drums on it.
So Brian Galindo, I remember Brian.
Yeah.
So he plays drums.
Yeah, and he's awesome. He's an
Really?
assassin behind the
Really?
keyboard.
he's awesome.
Oh, he's incredible.
So who does he play with? Or?
He plays right now with Suburban Delinquents. They've been around since high school. And then he plays with another band called Touch the Clouds. Great band. You should check them out. And I played.
I'd love to have him on.
Yeah. Reach out to him. I mean, I'm sure he'd probably want to do it. Like, in December, I've played in 2 bands with him. Actually 3. My first band, not my first band, maybe my third band. We never really did anything, but it was me, Brian Galindo, Tony Stecca, and
I know Tony Stecca too. Right?
And then Zach Kasperzak.
I don't know Zach.
Yeah. So when we would practice at Tony's house.
See, like, this is like those things I never even knew you
house.
guys were like doing shit like this.
Well, I was never like grandstanding.
No,
about
I
it,
know,
you know?
no, absolutely. None of you guys were.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, and that's, I always kind of correlate it back to playing soccer.
Sure.
That was your guys' passion.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you were immersing yourselves in.
Yeah.
Like, we would do with soccer.
For sure.
And we never, like, were like, oh my God, did you see what we did? You know, like, you
Right.
just did your thing. And like
Yeah.
you guys are doing too. It's just a different, kind of the same, but different, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah, that was like, like I said, we didn't play any shows or anything. But
So
I
you
played,
never
like,
played in, like, the band or anything shit like that at church?
No. I played I think
You just did your own thing right
Yep.
out of the gate, about 15, did
Yep.
whatever, moved on.
Yeah, I think
kind of fucking weaved through and did everything, whatever.
Yeah, and then I was playing in this one band. We played tons of shows. It was like when I was in college. I was in 2 bands actually at the time. One that was kind of a moneymaker. We would go and like play retreats and things, and like we made a lot of money, and people thought we were cool. It was corny. It was like really like bad songs.
It was like
and-
cover stuff.
No, I mean, we
you
would do
still
some
did,
covers. Like we played like a retreat, and we played everybody was kung fu fighting. You know,
Oh, fuck. Everyone loves that stuff.
and they,
You go
yeah,
if you went to any wedding I was at, I would request the kung fu fighting every time.
So we play that, and then
Thanks to Johnny B.
yeah. But then I was in this other
Johnny
band
B.
that was more like fed me more because it was more artistic, and then
Right.
I didn't play in that band anymore, and then I played in this other one, and then I was in another band. Well, I've been in so many bands, so it was like the one that we play retreats is called Sandlot, and so we played together a few years, and then I got in this band called Plus Minus West, and then me and the bass player had a falling out because about a girl, right? And then he ended up marrying her, so I can't be mad about it. But so then from that, I was mad about that, so I started this band that was kind of like a diss on him, you know, which we've patched up and everything's cool. But so I was in this band, and then I moved to Colorado, right?
How long were you in Colorado?
About a year. So I lived out there. Like,
Did you ever go to Red Rocks?
I did. I went and saw Phil Lesh and friends.
Phil Leshen? Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a cool show.
Yeah, I got to see Grateful Dead, on their last tour.
With Jerry?
Yeah,
You did.
yeah, and
So I never saw them with Jerry, but then the very next tour with the other ones.
okay,
When it was all of them
yep,
without anyone.
Right.
They didn't have like John Mayer or anything.
yeah.
But it was Rusted Root opened up for them.
I know you guys love Rusted Root.
Dude,
I do not like Rusted Root at all.
You don't like
That
that?
I think musically they're very sound. That vocals, man, I just can't.
love
I
his
can't do the
vocals.
vocals,
I love his vocals.
and a lot of people do. And it's,
no,
that's
but
all
you know
well and
what
good.
is
Dude,
the one thing I'll say about
totally
Rusted Root?
subjective. Like anything. Like your daughter Kennedy doesn't like Eddie Vedder's voice, or
She hates Eddie.
or
My daughter hates
Tragedy
I'm
Hip,
aware.
the lead singer of-
Okay, so
doesn't
that's
like that one either.
I think Tragically Hip is awesome, but that's an acquired taste. His vocals are an acquired taste.
I don't disagree.
Wow,
But
that's
what
amazing.
a songwriter! I mean,
I don't
Gord
disagree.
Downey, right?
Well,
That's his
yeah,
name.
it's like-
Amazing songwriter.
And Smashing Pumpkins. People are like, "Oh my god!"
It's an acquired taste,
it's
voice-wise.
An acquired taste,
That's
voice-wise.
why people
Absolutely.
don't really like that.
And
because
I'm
of
an
this guy.
absolute fucking lover of
I don't even
Smashing
care about
Pumpkins.
I saw Smashing Pumpkins, I think, probably 9 times, and it was back in the day. I saw him the first leg of Siamese Dream tour.
Yeah.
I have
I saw
the
him, like,
T-shirt
4
still.
times on the
Yeah,
stage.
so did I.
Siamese Dream, yeah.
Right, and there's like 4 tour dates on the back of the T-shirt, and one of them was the Phoenix Center. That was the first show that I saw. It was the
Nice.
very first leg, and it was incredible. That dude was possessed. Watching him play back then was he was unconscious of
What
it.
people don't realize is that dude is playing lead guitar, like serious lead guitar while he's singing.
Yeah.
And I will 100% always say this is my biggest regret. Do you remember Lauren Jackson?
Of course. Yeah.
So he was in a band called Spectacle.
Yeah, I saw him lots of times.
So I want to say, I think it was an earth science class, like my junior year. So it would have been might have been late 91, 92, but after Gish had just come out.
I love Gish. I love
Fuck
Gish.
yeah. And he's like, dude, I'm going to see Smashing, because we would talk about it. We'd talk about Smashing Pumpkins because me and Mike.
It would have been that flyer.
Well,
dude.
me and Mike Geiger.
Yeah, I
remember
remember
Geiger, right? We used to drive around in his convertible Mustang,
I remember that car too.
and we would play Rhinoceros because he had that fucking boomer.
The
in the
boomer,
back.
yeah, the system, yeah.
And we'd play Rhinoceros because that huge bass,
Right.
you know.
Remember they played that at Lollapalooza? Do you remember that? I think that's the only time I saw him play Rhinoceros, and it was so banging.
Very rare. Dude.
Yeah.
And that's like I fell in love with them. Not only because it's Paul too.
Oh, yeah.
Paul loved Pumpkins too when Gish
Yeah.
came out. And then I remember driving around with Geiger playing that, and Lauren Jackson's like, "Hey, I'm going to see them."
That's the flyer I gave you. It was that show.
And it was like, yes, it was like the best time you could ever see him, and it was like Masonic or whatever.
No, it was St. Andrews.
St.
It was
Andrews.
St. Andrews, yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm like a little fucking, I'm going to say it right now, I'm a little fucking pussy. right? And I'm like, I don't know, and like that was like the one regret I have in my whole musical career because I could have gone and seen them at St. Anne's
career
in support of Gish.
Yeah.
Like my favorite band ever, best album to start out
gosh.
and then lead into
So
other
good.
shit, right?
So
because
good.
like Beastie Boys,
Yeah. Oh.
you know, like for me, like their first one, right? What was it? Ill Communication.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a story to tell you about that.
I know you do. So we're gonna go on about Beastie Boys a little bit because we talked about the Forever Five.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten that with you yet, but for me, they're like right on the fucking cusp. You know, like I have, and I'll reiterate: Pumpkins, Wilco, Ben Harper, Lou Reed, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. That's my Forever Five right now. But Beastie Boys are right fucking there. Pearl Jam's right there, but Beastie Boys in general. So, Ill Communication, first album.
Ill Communication. This is what I want to tell you about Ill Communication.
So that's about 85, 86.
It was 85.
Yeah.
It was
80.
85.
And then I think in
Before License to
86
Kill?
they
No,
toured.
License to Ill was 85.
They toured
I know License
with
to Kill.
Madonna. I
Madonna.
think in 86.
Yep.
And I will never forget this. Susie Poling
Yep.
went and saw Madonna, and she was like, the Beastie Boys opened up, and she was like, it was insane. Like, just the way they were.
My
the
friend,
way they acted.
My friend Josh did a show,
Excuse me.
I think in New York. He does like ambient music, and he's very talented. Susie Poling was there.
No
She
shit.
was part of the thing. I don't know what she was doing there. But I was
Really?
like, is this Susie Poling from Livonia? He's like, yeah.
S-U-Z-I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Sorry, I didn't.
No, I love that
Yeah.
you brought that up, and because one, I don't like to be the whole shout out kind of guy, but I remember like I will never forget being at Susie Poling's house, and she had just gone to the Madonna show, and she was like, "Yeah, the Beastie Boys opened up," and they were like, "It was
She
crazy."
was always progressive with music.
No, she was always Susie and the Banshees,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and everything else, but she was also like, they were like crazy, like super, you know,
Yeah.
and like explicit, you
Sure.
know, and stuff like that. And that's what ill communicate. To me, ill communication was them being goofy
Yep.
from like a frat boy perspective,
But it was tongue in
but
cheek.
ripping on
Yeah.
the frat boy perspective.
Yeah, and did you watch that documentary on Apple? Incredible. It was incredible.
Absolutely.
And them talking about that.
And exactly, and that was the thing. And then you saw Paul's Boutique, and that was like, okay, they're for real.
Yep.
You know, because it still took that kind of goofiness, but took it to a whole different level. Mm-hmm. And then for me, though, was Check Your Head.
Sure.
And so senior year, this would have been our senior year in high school. Me and Mike Geiger picked up my brother and I think 3 of his buddies at Eastern, and then drove to Wings Stadium
Okay.
in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
So
I
from
saw
there,
Pumpkins
call
there. Yeah. And Tool there. I saw Tool there too.
so fucking amazing.
Yeah, great.
But I got my parents' minivan. Me and Geiger are still in high school. My brother and his 3 buddies are in college. We're going to the show. It's the Lynch Mob minus Ice Cube because he was already too big for that. Rollins Band.
Yep. They were fun live.
Fuck,
Yeah.
that was amazing. And then Beastie Boys supporting Check Your Head. First time with instruments and all that shit. That, to me, is Beastie Boys in their exact prime. Check Your Head.
That stuff comes up on my IG, and I'm watching them. Their energy was crazy.
And
crazy.
Because it kind of brings the Paul's Boutique aspect to it in a lot of their songs.
Right.
But then they start playing their instruments.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny because, you know, I don't pay attention to shit, but everyone's like, well, if you notice the Check Their Head album, they're all sitting there and they have all their instruments around them, kind of projecting that they're going to play, you know, instruments and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't fucking read into that when I was fucking 20.
Right.
But I know I fucking loved it or whatever it was, you know.
Yeah.
And that was the most amazing. And I saw them a couple of years later at Lollapalooza, 94. I think you went to that one,
I
right?
totally did. Yeah.
And that was Beastie Boys, Smashing Pumpkins, Tribe Called Quest. I think Breeders were there. I mean, it was a fucking amazing lineup.
And I can't remember if it was that year or the next year, but Flaming Lips were on the side stage. Tool was on the side stage.
So Tool was on the side stage in 93 at My Own Dragway.
Okay.
That's where I saw it.
Okay.
I saw Tool on the side stage. It started about 50 people, and by the end, it was like 1,000 people.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Okay. Are you guys into Flaming Lips at all?
So I've always enjoyed them,
yeah.
but I've never been a huge fan. But
Have you ever seen them?
I've never seen them.
Okay, that's a band you have to go see.
That's what
I've
always heard that.
I took my whole family to the Fillmore last year. Like,
Did you really?
it was well, my son didn't go. He didn't have any interest, but he's coming around.
No, that's all right.
Yeah,
Get as many as you can.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get as many as you can.
And we got like a suite. And
Once they get to a certain,
unbelievable.
once they get to a certain age,
Where did they play?
Fillmore.
Oh, Fillmore.
It's awesome.
It was the show was brilliant, and I was looking at my wife and my daughters, and they were like, "It's a show. It's a show. Like, it doesn't matter if Wayne can sing or not. It doesn't matter. He's up there just like cheerleading and just like there's giant
I've never seen anything but good about
Absolutely,
Flaming
yeah.
Lips.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, gotta see him.
I want to say Miley Cyrus is like really good friends.
Yeah,
I want
Wayne
to say
Coyne,
with
yeah.
Wayne
Yeah.
or whatever, right? So
The
they
show
do
is
stuff.
unbelievable. That's one band I've seen so many times just because it's so
And
fun.
I want to say I may have seen them as like a deep opener for like either a Horde Fest or
Potentially,
something like
they
that.
did play
You
the
know,
side stage at Lollapalooza, and so they had that one song like "She Don't Use Jelly," and that was like their
Right.
one of their singles. But they played on the side stage, and I was over there watching. I was down for them. I loved that record, and I was into it. And so when they sang that song, that they're like, "I'll make you breakfast and make you toast."
Right.
They threw toast out into the crowd, and there was a bubble machine. It was like awesome.
They did play Lollapalooza.
Yeah, they did.
And I went to 92 to 95.
Okay,
And that may have been around the time where they might have been on the second stage.
they were.
'Cause that sounds very familiar.
Yes, they were there. Yeah.
Where they're, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was funny because between Lollapalooza and Horde Fest, I learned about the second stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Ben Harper was on the second stage.
Dude, Ben Harper was the second stage. Wilco was on the second stage.
I didn't know that.
One of the very first Horde Fest, Wilco was on the second stage right after AM came out,
Okay.
which was like their
Yeah.
first album. And, I mean, Wilco is one of the bands where I caught them at the very beginning, and I've loved them from then on.
They're a great band.
You know,
man.
and to me, I don't want to sound like a geek, but for like a huge fan, that is what it's all about with music. When you catch that person and then follow them through the wave,
Yeah.
right? And Wilco was that band for me, and AM was sweet, Being There was sweet, Summer Teeth was fucking amazing,
Summer Teeth is amazing.
and then Yankee was
Yankee's
even
amazing.
better.
Yeah.
And then you had, what was it, A Ghost Is Born.
Yeah.
And then, like, from that point, I kind of fell off.
But what about Sky Blue Sky? Do you spend any time with that record?
I have a shirt. I
Neil,
have a shirt.
Neil does.
I love that
Neil bought it
record.
years ago, and it finally fucking fits.
That song "Hate It Here," like,
Right.
dude, that is
No.
dad life, dude.
No.
It's like I don't
That
hate
is
being.
dad life,
It is.
absolutely.
It's like talking about mowing the lawn. I mean,
Right.
I don't. I love being a dad, and I'm not. Saying,
100%.
but it's
I
a
do too.
dad record, and that song is a dad song. You know.
It's not like dad life's easy, though.
No.
You love it, but it ain't easy. It's like any other fucking job.
When that
bro.
album came out, I went
No,
see it,
that's
and that's when I
awesome.
bought the shirt.
Yeah, that's
And
the last
Sky
one.
Blue
I
Sky.
I've been a huge Jeff Tweedy fan from Uncle Tupelo for early Wilco.
Sure.
Through going with Keith to Lounge Acts, which was
Yeah.
the bar that he owned in Chicago. Because we showed up there with Echon's keys. Echon wasn't home. He FedExed us our keys. And the first night we got there, we went straight to Lounge Acts. Because we were like, maybe maybe Tweety will play.
Yeah, I've never been there. I'd love to go there. I've been to
It's
shows
closed
over
at
there.
this point.
Yeah.
He doesn't own it anymore. But like that band was like I loved seeing that. Like I said, riding that wave.
Right.
Catching that band early. Seeing them grow up. I mean, fuck, they won a Grammy.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilco won a fucking Grammy.
No,
at some point.
I
Jesus
love
Christ, are you serious?
I love when like the underdogs win
Right.
Grammys, like Bon Iver, Arcade
Yeah.
Fire. Like,
Don't-
have you seen them?
Dude, no.
Have
I
you
haven't
seen?
it.
Oh my
What
gosh,
I will
dude.
say, I have one Taylor Swift song on my playlist of like 2,000 songs.
Oh, Exile.
Yes, with
It's
Bon Iver.
brilliant.
That is
brilliant.
one of the best, nicest songs.
Yeah,
Just
it's
Oh.
remarkable. And what's interesting about that, being a songwriter, listening to that song, it's very evident that she wrote this part, he wrote this part. It's his voice. What a smart idea on her part to get an indie sweetheart in there to
And then
gather more fans, because he has 2
100%.
songs with her, and they're both
and
lights
then
up.
after that, then she
Bangers.
couples up
Yep.
with the National.
Yeah, and I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
National's a great band.
Well,
Great
the
band.
National,
Seen them a few
we were
times.
just talking about Wilco. The National is a band that Keith introduced to me, but that I've kind of
So
followed
you're a
from the
National
beginning.
fan?
Oh, the first couple records, like
yeah.
But very unique. Another very
They're still
unique
good.
voice.
Like they're
Never
later
been
on,
a
they're
huge
still
fan,
good.
but I swear to God, every song I hear from them is just it draws you in.
yeah, the
Absolutely.
I can't remember. So their first one was like Alligator. I don't
Yeah.
love that one. It sounds really like it's unproduced, right? They're coming up.
Oh, yeah.
The
Right.
one after that one, I can't remember the name of it. Do you know what
I
it?
believe it is because I was trying to freaking
It's
find
like-
it.
There's
Go
like
ahead,
Slow
go ahead.
Show on there, and
Yes.
there's that record is banging, dude. Listen to that
I've
record.
never
If
seen him
Keith
live.
is listening right now, he's gonna be like, Neil, you don't know the fucking second album after Alligator? All right, so go
Well,
ahead.
they're,
So good.
they're Cincy based. Our
Yep.
boy Keith.
Afghan
is
Legs or
from
Cincy?
Cincy.
Cincinnati
Afghan
too.
Wigs,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Keith loves the fucking wigs.
Because they're Afghan Wags always seems to kind of get coupled in with like the grunge era.
Well, that's when they kind of started.
But that's when they started.
yeah.
But they're from Cincy. I never realized that.
Yeah, they're from Cincy. It's funny. I was working at Pizza Hut, like from like high school through college. I worked there, and there was this dude. He was pretty cool. He was like really into music, and it was like a Friday night, and he gets a call. Because we didn't have
Boxer.
Boxer. Yep, that record's awesome.
Boxer's
like that
really
record is
good.
awesome. The one after it is not as good as Boxer, but it's still very
There's a
good.
High Violet in there.
Yep,
yeah.
High Violet. So this dude gets a call at work on the phone, right on the landline, because whatever.
That's the world we live in.
Yeah. So he comes back. He's like, "Bro, I know I'm gonna get fired, but I'm leaving. Like, I just got tickets for Afghan Wigs at the 89 X Fest," and I was like,
Dude, 89 X Fest, they did fucking great shows.
"I know, dude. I know."
It's fucking amazing, actually.
So he
89
walked out and went to
Absolutely.
the Afghan Wigs show, and I was like, I want to be mad at you, but I respect you. I wish it was me that got that call. Yeah.
Can I hand it to the
Right.
next person?
And I got another Pizza Hut story that's kind of funny. We had a couple different Todds that worked there, and one of them was like a little bit off, so we called him Mental Todd. And Mental Todd, and he didn't mind that we called him that, but he told me that he was
You didn't fully understand why they called him
he told me that he was friends with Isham. Do you know who?
Sean Booman.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know you, Sean.
And I was like, okay, you're not friends with Isham. And he's like, yes, I am. And I was like, okay, prove it. So he calls Isham on the Pizza Hut phone. And he's like, hey, it's Todd. And he's like, yeah. He's like, this dude doesn't believe that we're friends. And he's like, will you talk to him on the phone? And Isham's like, yeah, I'll talk to him on the phone. So he puts the phone, I take the phone, and I was like, you're friends with Todd? And he goes, no, he sells me weed.
Well, it's everyone's friend. Everyone's friend at that point.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, I do remember Isham's Boomin. I remember being in, like, fucking middle school. Like, you'd hear Isham's Boomin.
Yeah,
You would hear about fucking Kid Rock.
yeah.
Because he was, like, rap back then. Like, when... Because
Yeah.
well, we're the same age, right?
Yeah.
So like, that was at Frost. I remember hearing about Kid Rock.
I saw Kid Rock before he was big. Like I saw him at Chuckers Hall in Wixom.
Right.
Yeah. And he
Is
was
it good?
It was entertaining,
Dude,
but it was before the bottom of the wall or whatever.
Right,
Like,
it was before he blew up. Like he was kind of like rap at first, and then kind of rap hybrid with the whole, like the, Limp Bizkit came out or whatever. And to be honest, I have still to this day never seen Kid Rock
yeah, I saw him that
live whatsoever.
I'm not really interested in it.
I'm not interested in really at all.
Yeah.
I saw him once.
But what I
got a
will
free ticket.
say is that
didn't pay for
dude
it.
has been around since we were like fucking 14.
Yeah, he was in the 80s.
And he's still fucking doing it.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Because what was it when he first came out? Yodeling in the Valley.
Yodeling in the Valley.
Yodeling in the Valley was fucking Kid Rock.
Yep.
When we were like in 7th, 8th grade.
Right.
And then he just like fucking blew up from there. And I remember back in that day being like, dude, ain't that good?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I put him in
because
the
at that
same
point I started
category.
like actually realizing what good music was. You know,
it wasn't that.
What do you put in the
no, it wasn't that at all.
Do you remember Paradigm? There was like a
Paradigm.
a
Yes, what
Redford
is
rapper.
that?
Like
Yes,
I saw
what is
them.
Paradigm?
It was just some
I
Redford
remember
rapper,
that.
and there, he had a van with
Yes.
like spray painted on it, and I don't know. He was there, and then he wasn't. So they were kind of like in the same vein
Right.
to me. And then Kid Rock blew up. You know?
Right.
But yeah, I never.
That was like the
came-
crazy thing was like, it went from like we were in middle school to where he was, in my opinion, kind of a joke.
Yeah, no, completely.
Right? Like he was yodeling in the valley, he was all this and that. And then at some point, like, it was towards the end of my college.
Yeah.
Because I was done about 96.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, it was like, oh my God, fucking Kid Rock. I'm like, is this seriously the yodeling in the valley guy?
Yeah.
'Cause that's
And then he was
kinda-
on top of the world.
Dude, he was
Yeah.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
He came to one
Pretty
of
much
our
so.
shows. We played a show at the Magic Stick. And
Magic
his,
Stick's great.
yeah,
man.
and his
It's all 97s there.
oh, okay, yeah, I saw Elliott Smith there. That was
Nice.
unbelievable.
Because you have the Majestic next door.
Yep.
But the Magic Stick is just like that upstairs
The
bar.
upstairs,
Like
with the stage.
And it's,
That
I mean,
that
how many
place
do you
used to
think?
be
Maybe
so
500
great.
there?
Maybe, yeah.
About?
It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
it's not that big.
No. We saw old 97s there. And I remember walking up and I saw Folk Implosion there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh man, I never saw Folk Implosion, but I've seen
They're coming.
Sabado a few
They're coming
times.
either in
They are.
about a week and a half or.
Where are they coming to?
Um,
Is it L Club?
no. No, that's a good call.
Yeah,
I've never been to El Club.
I played
did
there
you go?
last
You
year.
played there?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
In Ferndale, Loving Touch,
Okay. Oh, that
which I don't
that's-
know anything about.
You
I
haven't
know
been there?
Magic Bag.
I saw it. Yeah, no. Loving Touch is great. It's very
really?
small. It's like 300 cap. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
it's small. I saw Built to Spill there 2 years
Okay.
ago. Are you guys into Built to Spill? Do you know Built to Spill?
Not
That's
huge, but I've heard
unfamiliar.
of them.
Unbelievable, unbelievable band.
So Folk
unbelievable live
Implosion
band.
is playing Loving Touch. It might be either August 14th or maybe September.
What's the other venue in Ferndale? Isn't there another one?
Magic Bag.
No, but it's not that. I know that, but isn't there another one? No, not coming around. All right, fine.
I have no idea.
Not that I remember. I mean,
I've never been
potentially.
in Loving Touch.
It's a good spot. It used to be a massage.
I've heard of
parlor.
it, and I
That's what it's
remember
called
like
that.
kind of last, like kind of summer.
That's true.
Dude, the beauty
Maybe
of
it's
our
in
show
Detroit.
is we don't know dick. A lot of times people are introducing us to stuff.
Well,
which
yeah,
I
and
love.
that's-
Like
There's
for
been-
you being on, like you're totally introducing us to new stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
we appreciate that. And
absolutely.
hopefully we're.
And-
I love your perspective too,
Yeah.
because I know mine. You know, coming
Yeah.
up, playing music, seeing.
and
all
that's
these
the thing
shows
is
and whatever.
I love. Well, today has been to me like one of my funnest days because we had Jason
Yeah.
and you on, which you guys are both like singer, songwriter, producers. You do your own thing. You create. You know, and for the most part, we just have fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
guys
because
that
of
have
the
been gone to
content that you
shows
have,
for
like,
30
right.
years or
It's-
whatever, but
it's-
like, it's a totally different perspective, and
Right.
I love that aspect of it. I want to have more bands,
Yeah.
and the creative types on because it's great to hear about.
Yeah,
How you
we're
do
like
it.
we're little I know I am, but I'm like a fan. I haven't heard any of your music, but I love that you played your fucking guitar.
I didn't play it very well, but
Don't matter. You don't have to, dude, because
We
you
don't
know
know
what?
shit
For
about
us, it's like, oh my
I do
god,
have a
did you
singing voice,
hear
that's
that? You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're probably like, oh my god, I missed that. I did this, I did that, and we're like, oh my god, that was awesome.
That was totally
We're our
awesome.
own worst critics, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Sure,
that's true.
So let's go into the one thing we always talk about is our Forever 5. So if we were to dig a little deeper into you, some of your maybe
Yeah.
your inspiration
Yeah.
stuff, who
Oh.
have you draw stuff from? Who is like if you were on a deserted island,
Yeah. Okay.
you
You're
had
asking
5
a couple
artists or
different-
bands,
Yeah,
asking a couple different
whole
questions here.
catalog.
So,
Who is it?
like inspiration wise and Forever 5 are very different.
Let's go for
questions. Forever
I
5,
don't
I
care.
only.
This is your point when you just lead us.
All right, so I have 3.
Okay.
Right? Velvet Underground.
Mm.
They're probably my favorite band. Radiohead is. I mean, they're neck and neck, and then Fugazi is another one.
Nice. I like that.
They're incredible, and they've never officially broken up as a band. So I would love to see them.
They're still around. They're still around.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
I
them.
love Fugazi.
Actually, it was Echan who was on our show in season 1. He was my buddy that lived in Chicago.
Okay.
And sent us his keys. He was a huge Fugazi fan.
They're incredible.
And I had never, like, you listen to what you listen to,
Yeah.
and then people tell you about it, and he was like, dude, you have to listen to Fugazi. And I was like, wow.
They're like a punk rock super.
Yeah,
group.
it was
It's incredible.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's live. Oh my gosh! Like,
So you've seen Fugazi
Oh yeah,
live?
I've seen Fugazi. I think 3 times. The best one. Well, the best one was Fugazi, Shellac, and Blonde Redhead at the State Theater. It was
Fillmore now,
unbelievable.
everyone.
Fillmore
but
now.
It's the State Theater.
There's okay. Shellac is one of my favorite bands.
Okay.
But I don't know if I want him in my Forever 5. Steve Albini, who was in Shellac, who also recorded some of the Pixies' best records. PJ Harvey, like
I'm seeing PJ Harvey
I love-
September 28th
Love
at the
PJ Harvey.
Cathedral.
yeah. So
At Masonic.
that Rid of Me record,
Yeah.
like he recorded that. Like
Oh, shit.
he did.
I don't know none of this stuff.
Okay,
I
this
love hearing
dude, he did In Utero. He recorded In Utero. Like
Really?
he is this brilliant engineer that would be paid an hourly rate and would not take any like licensing money at all. He was a really good dude that just wanted to make records
Great
sound
music.
good. And Shellac, I saw Shellac one time in Chicago when I had dreadlocks, right? And they would do this thing.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
It was one I fucking loved. You know why? Because there's times my senior in high school, I used to wear not dreads, but braids.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I always wanted to have dreadlocks.
Oh, it's a commitment.
I know it is.
Commitment.
I know it is. And I saw you at one point.
Yeah,
you were like doing like a video, and like you had like these fucking huge dreads. I'm like, holy shit, dude! He committed. That's what I said. He
Oh my
committed to that shit.
And people ask how you get that. It's neglect. That's what
It's,
it is.
it's exactly what it is.
If they're
right?
real, like mine were real, like you have to like rip them apart, and
Right.
it's just a whole thing. And
There's a whole process.
But I remember going to this show and seeing Shellac in Chicago, and they would do this thing when they would tune and they would ask questions, or that they would ask you to ask questions as the audience, crowd participation. So I raised my hand, and they're like, "Is there anyone out there that doesn't have dreadlocks that has a question?" And I was like, "Oh, you shamed me," but I loved it because it was what
It was
they were.
awesome.
Like it was such a punk rock thing to say.
Who have been for Pyros? The fucking, you remember the 7 foot tall dude? And he was asking questions.
Fuck.
Fuck.
I don't remember.
I don't
who
remember
performed.
who it was, but they did a great job opening up, and he opened up for questions. People would yell him out.
That's
It was-
great.
I love to feel that participation.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like they did a great job getting everyone ready for fucking Porno for
Yeah.
Pyros.
That's great. That's what an opener's supposed to do. You know,
Tiger Club. Tiger Cub.
Tiger Cub.
Cub.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Out
not
of
familiar with
England.
them.
And the lead singer guitarist is 7 fucking feet tall.
Speaking of 7 feet tall people, my wife and I, before we were married, we were in Las Vegas at the Palms. It was like 4:00 in the morning. We're going to catch a cab.
Vegas.
Yeah, it's the best. Like
4 in the morning,
We
catching
took
a
our
cab in
kids
Vegas.
there a couple.
Yeah.
Actually, April of when we first launched our very first episode, so about a year and a half
Yeah.
ago. Vegas is amazing.
it's amazing.
I fucking love it. My kids loved it. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, if you're like me and most people, you don't like your personal space invaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking and someone yanks on my dreadlocks, like behind me, and I turn around. I was like, "What is Dennis Rodman?"
No
Yeah.
shit.
And I looked at him and I was like, "What's up, Worm?" He's like,
What's up, Worm?
and he's like, "Cool hair, bro."
That is the best thing ever. What's up, Worm?
I turned around ready to strike, man, but no, I ain't fighting
That's
Dennis,
hilarious.
Hey,
Dennis
fuck with the
Rodman.
Worm, he'll
no,
fuck you up.
I know.
I'm not saying
Right,
you're
so-
not a tough guy, but he'll probably fuck you
Mr.
up.
Braceland,
Yeah.
Forever 5.
Front
Who
center.
are your like 5 top? Like I could never live without these guys.
Okay, so we went over the Radiohead and Fugazi and Velvet Underground. So the rest are just ancillaries, like the people that really, really do it for me. That I wouldn't. I got my 3, but then I have Shellac is really important to me. Palace Brothers is really important to me. Will Oldham. The Shellac thing with Steve Albini because of what he's done for music. Then there's a band that I love so much, Frightened Rabbit. I don't know if you've ever heard them. They're a Scottish band. You'd probably like them because they're kind of like adjacent to the National. Brilliant songwriting, tortured soul.
Frightened Rabbit.
Frightened Rabbit.
And what did you say they were from? Like
Scotland.
Scottish.
Yep.
So compared to like Keane. Or...
Yeah, but not as pop. Like
Not
a
as pop.
little more
Okay.
like damaged. You
Okay.
know, like this dude ended up taking his life a few
I got
years ago.
Also,
And-
they're not even around anymore. Then.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
fun.
and once he passed, a whole bunch of people covered his music. It's brilliant,
Oh, I can't
Okay.
brilliant. And then
no,
I've never even heard of
you
it.
would love it. I know
Okay.
that you would.
Okay,
It's
cool.
so good that he's got a record.
Well, believe it or not, I am 50% Scottish.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm 50% Polish, 50%
That's some Scotch.
Scottish. So I
Okay.
love a lot of like fucking.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
Well,
have
it's
Scottish influence,
It's
right?
nobody's like caber tossing or anything. Like that. But it's
No, but I will say like that whole aspect of just in general, like train spotting. I fucking love that.
yeah, it's a great movie.
Like that is Scottish, like
Yeah.
to the core. G2 train spotting. Did you ever see that? Did you see the
I
pilot?
saw the first one. I don't think I saw the second one.
Check the second one out. They have the entire same cast coming back for 20 years later doing a sequel,
Okay.
and it's Danny Boyle still directing it.
Okay. Well,
So
I
it's like
respect that.
It's like the original movie, the same exact movie with everyone else, same director, everything else. Danny Boyle, plus he did Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
He's done a ton of great movies, and I have to say, Train Spotting, the book came from Irvine Welsh. He wrote the book Porno, which actually ends up being the sequel to Train Spotting.
Okay.
Is what it ends up being. And then he also wrote another fucking book called
I have yours.
Filth.
Filth?
Filth.
Okay, I'm aware of Filth.
So, yes.
Yeah.
In the book itself, in the paperback, is like blue, and it's like he's a detective.
Okay.
And it's like it digs deeper into that.
I have
And
your
he also
porno
wrote a
book
book
still,
called
by the
Acid
way.
House.
I still have your porno book, by the way.
Yeah.
Acid
No.
House?
I
Yeah.
have it just in case.
So
you-
Irvine
I
Welsh
have
has
it.
wrote all these books, and then they've created these movies. But Train Spotting was the first one, and
Okay.
then the T2 Train Spotting 2 or whatever, which has all the original cast, and it's amazing. And they have some of the best soundtracks ever.
Okay.
Like Train Spotting, the first one had Remember
That's
Neil?
a great,
They
great
had the
soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
yeah the orange one,
Oh, it's
and then they had
wonderful.
the green one. It was like a volume 2,
bunch of not
which
technical, but I
had
love all
it had Iggy Pop Passenger on
Drive
you know
Boy,
the
Drive
volume
Boy,
2,
sit
and then they
down,
came out
mate,
with
go
then
boy.
the second movie, and then they had the soundtracks to support
That band, The Streets, with Geezers and the Excitement. Oh my gosh, that's a banger, dude.
dude. And like
So
the
good.
first one, they had Blur on it.
Yeah, I saw
Right.
Blur. That was my
You
second.
saw Blur?
Yeah, I saw Blur at St. Andrews. Like
No shit.
I saw.
kidding.
Yeah, I saw Jesus
All right,
Jones
so
the week before.
let's get into you saw Jesus Jones and Blur at St. Andrews?
Jesus
Or-
Jones was at Michigan
Nice.
Theater.
Okay.
And then Blur was a week later at St. Andrews, and they were moshing there. It makes no sense to me. Zero sense.
Everyone's
Yeah.
been moshing. So stupid.
But so those were my first like secular concerts when
Right.
I was like 16 or whatever. But one thing I want to go back to on like because I couldn't listen to anything but Christian music for a long time because there was like this satanic panic thing going on, like
Absolutely.
backmasking and all this. Like churches went crazy on that. So I took this tape, this Carmen tape of that first band that I saw. I took the tape and I took it apart. And I took the tape out, and on one side of the tape, and I dubbed these off John Domer. One side was License to Ill, and the other side was Van Halen 1984.
Nice.
So my mom thought I was listening to Carmen because it was on this tape, but one side was License to
You
Ill.
have
Others,
got to be kidding me.
oh yeah, I had to tell you that because that was
God,
like
that's
another.
amazing.
That's awesome.
I fucking
They had
hate
to
that.
sneak the
I
music.
snuck it in, but then my cousin came to live with us, and my family adopted her, and she brought all of this new music in,
Right.
And I'm like, who are the Talking Heads? Who is the
Talking
Cure?
Heads are
Like
amazing.
amazing,
Oh, awesome.
amazing. So
That's sweet.
that's when my whole music thing changed, and that's when I started kind of playing guitar, and everything changed for me. It was I was
When
like
I
15.
heard Talking Heads play live, blew me away.
They're unreal, dude.
Like, 'cause I never experienced that before. You know,
David
like,
Byrne
and
is
then-
a genius.
And then I heard, like their most famous songs, and all of a sudden they were live, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" You know what I mean? Like I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Well, he wrote those songs to play at CBGB's.
Right.
He wrote them specifically because it was like really bad acoustics. So he wrote the songs so they would sound good in that building,
shit.
which is
Yeah, I
insane.
couldn't believe when like they actually played those songs live or whatever, and then hearing how it, I'm like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!"
Yeah, yeah. That dude's mind is way up there. Yeah.
All right, so Kevin, I can't thank you enough for showing up and being a part of our show here today. Like I said, we've known each other since we were like 7, probably, right? And then graduated together.
Yep.
Our paths have been different, obviously, across the 30 years before
Yeah.
we've now seen each other. But I love what you're doing. I love that you're making music. I love that you're working around music. St. Andrew's Shelter, one of the places I love the most
Yep.
going to see a show, absolutely. And the one that I will remember the most forever is Lou Reed.
Yep.
When me and Neil went and saw him at St. Andrews. That was one of the probably the best shows I've ever seen in my life. So it's funny. Just I sit here and I'm babbling, whatever. But the fact that we've known each other for 40 years,
Yeah. Longer.
at least
Yeah.
longer than 40 years, but haven't seen each other in probably 30.
Yeah.
And it's awesome hearing what you're doing. I love hearing how you're connected with St. Andrews and the Shelter and everything else. I love that you're making music. And, that's what this whole thing's about, right, Neil?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just live music. It brings everyone together. And I couldn't appreciate more having you on this show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. And I will say the very first person that's actually played live on the show, which I'm very appreciative of. But I will also challenge you.
Yeah?
We've been looking for a theme song for two dudes for quite a while.
So let's work on that together.
Absolutely.
Let's get some key points together. I'm happy to do that.
I would love to have you work on that. I've told people before, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to have a theme song. I'm working on some stuff, and I've never worked on anything ever at all. But I'll let you take the lead on that. I would love to see.
So if you write music too, right?
Oh yeah, that's mainly what I do.
Lyricist, or not lyricist, but songwriter.
All of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, composing and deciding what
Two
instruments.
dudes,
to be
go
in.
tunes, Cal, Neil. We love those guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Probably sound like
And I don't know if you know, but Neil has quite a voice himself.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe we could put that in
He
there
was,
too.
I might. I mean,
I don't
Where
want
do
to
you
tout
live now?
him, but
I live in Redford now.
Okay. Yeah. So not far from.
Yeah, I was at.
Well, yeah,
I was
we're
in
all
Westland, and
within
then
a
I
fucking
just got a
spitting
house
distance.
in Redford.
Mhm.
So. But yeah,
he has quite the singing voice. He
um,
was the
Grand
choir student of the
Yes.
month in 8th grade
Yeah.
Nice.
at Brighton.
There you go.
Scranton Middle School.
Yeah.
So he does have quite a pedigree.
It was before
I think you guys could work together and come up with a great theme song.
Do some CSNY.
Yeah.
No, but I do appreciate
Harmonies.
you being on,
absolutely.
Kevin.
Yeah. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
We love having people on that we know. We love having people on that are actually create music, you know, and which is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I'm going to end with some new Smashing Pumpkins. They just came out with a new album. And according to what they say, this is going back to their roots.
The Roots.
I've read that.
So Billy, James, Eha, and Jimmy Chamberlain, they haven't been very vocal about who's on bass. So I'm assuming maybe Billy's just doing that too.
No Darcy.
No, fuck no. There ain't no Darcy no more. But I will say, from what I've heard of it, it is
Better than
fucking
Zeitgeist.
This sounds good.
Zeitgeist is good, dude. No, I will.
There's like a one good song.
Which they play, I'm sure now. No, but what I will say about Zeitgeist was the first time where Billy and Jimmy Chamberlain came back together. So you had like the guitar-driven, drum-driven, like thing.
Yeah.
But when they played in concert, Billy Corgan was kind of a douche.
No.
Because, like, our show, you were there. This was literally the day after Neil's dad passed away.
Oh yeah.
You remember we went to the Smashing Pumpkins? They were at
The Fox.
the Fox.
I was there.
2007.
They opened. I walked in to Drown, and I was like, "This show's gonna be awesome."
And that was
Right.
And that was
Exactly.
Not good, bro.
No. And he got super pissed off at the crowd
Yeah.
because they had to hear all the
Yelling.
fucking... And what's the thing is, if you just fucking enjoy the show, you're going to hear all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said, you heard Drown.
Yeah.
First of all, if you hear nothing else, you heard Drown.
Yeah.
Like, that is like their masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. So then they're playing, and everyone's bitching, I want to hear this, I want to hear that. So then they play like Zero at the end or whatever, right? And then I looked the next day at their set list, because they never played Cherub Rock that day. But they were supposed to, as their encore, but he was so pissed off at everyone. He was playing like fucking Zero or whatever, and was like, I'm done.
His silent protest of the crowd.
Right, exactly. Which
Said fuck.
is kind of true to him,
Silent.
right? But I will say, over time, he's softened. He's become a much more kinder, gentler. We saw him at Come to Life.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got his kids out there dancing, you know,
He
and
still has his
made fun of
ego
himself.
in his, but
He's like, I've learned after 30 years that not everyone wants to hear what I have to say. And, you know, and everyone just starts fucking laughing, and he just went into the next song or whatever.
Do you think he has a WWF theme
NWA,
song?
yeah, absolutely. Dude, it's great. He'll make any dollar wherever he can find it, dude. We went to his tea house, Madame Drew's, which is cool.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, that's where he's done some of his shows with Pumpkins and stuff. But, dude, I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Everyone else,
Great to meet you.
check out Terror Embrace. Check out us on YouTube and all that other shit. You know where we're at. So, but thank you very much. Season 2, episode fucking 19, dude.
There it is.
Let's go, Stevie.
There we are. It's amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Kevin.
bro.
Right.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, fellas.
This actually